One day, Duck was telling the other engines what happened. Thomas just beat up my friends, Donald and Douglas, for no reason, he said crossly. Maybe it's because he had a bad dream, murmured Skarloey. Perhaps he's lonely. I'll go talk to him. But when Skarloey arrived, however, Thomas was more than rude. Go away, he said snootily. You'll dirty up my paint. How? Asked Skarloey. I just came over here to say hello. Well, I know you don't mean it, said Thomas. Just go away. I'm just trying to be friendly, replied Skarloey. You know, other engines will like you more if you just be nice to them. Who cares, said Thomas crossly. I'm not going to be on Sodor anymore. There's a certain country that Trevor Davis wants me to go. Japan, where the other engines are treated with respect and not to be forced to go on the places you called sidings. The island of Sodor is the nicest place in the world, said Skarloey. Any engine with coal in his tender knows that. You're no help, said Thomas. Maybe when Trevor Davis comes to Sodor, he'll stick you in a museum. After all, that's where you belong, isn't it? This made Skarloey very cross. I may be old, but I'm still really useful. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to pull a passenger train, because that's what real engines do. Thomas chuckled. It's only a matter of time that you'll be scrapped, Skarloey. You may as well share your last few days. Skarloey finally had enough, and he left the sheds, still cross. A few days later, Sir Topham Hatt asked Skarloey what was the matter, and Skarloey told him everything about Thomas. This is unacceptable, he said. All Thomas does is complain for no reason. I'm going to give him one final warning. But Sir Topham Hatt didn't get a chance. As Gordon was on his way to Knapford Station, Thomas ran into the coaches, knocking them off the line. My coaches! Exclaimed Gordon. You damaged them! Oh, stop whining, said Thomas. You damaged my cargo car. I'm going to go tell Sir Topham Hatt, and you're going to be in trouble. And when Sir Topham Hatt arrived a few minutes later, he inspected the crash. Well, this is obviously your fault, Thomas. You should have given Gordon a right-of-way because he's on the main line. Just because Gordon's on the main line doesn't mean he can do whatever he likes, grumbled Thomas. Just because Trevor Davis is on holiday doesn't mean you can make life miserable for the rest of us, Gordon grumbled back. Don't say that, said Thomas, and he banged the coaches hard again. Enough, said Sir Topham Hatt. Thomas, that is it. I will no longer tolerate this behavior on my railway, and I am your controller. You will do as I say. Stop this at once. Just then Toby swerved into a siding. He applied his brakes just in time, avoiding some dangerous tankers. What are those doing here? Asked Sir Topham Hatt. They shouldn't be near each other at all. It's dangerous. Just then 3 engines arrived. This has happened before, said Ryan. Remember a few years ago when there was a similar incident at Harwick Yards? Thomas put them here, sir, said Donald. I saw this whole thing happen. I thought he was going to move them eventually. That's why I didn't say anything. He wanted to cause a crash on purpose, added Ben. Sir Topham Hatt, red in the face, turned to Thomas. That's it. You sabotaged my railway. You helped the Diesels take over my railway, and I will no longer tolerate your behavior on my railway. Fine, said Thomas. It's about time that I go to a proper country. Goodbye, Sodor. And Thomas left in a huff. Come back here, said Sir Topham Hatt. But Thomas was gone. What now, sir? Asked Donald. You can't get rid of Thomas if you can't find him. He'll show up in no time, said Sir Topham Hatt. Either that or he'll run out of coal. Finally, the island of Sodor can have some peace and quiet. But unfortunately for Sir Topham Hatt, Thomas didn't show up. The engines had been looking for him everywhere, but he was nowhere to be found. What if he fell off the track and into a pond? Asked Skarloey. Serves him right, said Yang Bao. It's about time that Thomas will go bug some other railway. I heard that he snuck onto a fishing boat, said Hugo, and no one had seen him. Thomas? On a fishing boat? Exclaimed Gordon. Huh, unlikely. Whatever the case may be, said Doug, we'll never have to know. It's about time that Thomas is finally gone. And the engines got some sleep. In many years, feeling much safer.